Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for the one and the only one. It's Calhoun Koeniq, and it's Nancy Oeswein. Give it up, give it up, give it up, give it up, give it up.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming on the show. I appreciate you. How are you?
Excited to be here.
Good. Okay, so I was telling this story to myself. I'm sitting and I'm watching, I'm on Facebook all the time. That's what I do. You know, I'm a grown man, but I spend all my time on Facebook doing research. And I saw this trailer, Nancy, and it was United Colors. And let me come at you honestly. This was the best trailer that I've seen in Michigan. I know I'm piling on high, but still, it was one of those trailers that said Hollywood.
Wow.
Everything about it said Hollywood. Tell us about this, Nancy. Tell us about this amazing trailer.
This has been such a labor of love, and it was a really special film to work on. I've been blessed to work on a lot of films in the last few years, but this is my first screenplay. It's the first film that I've been a writer for a long time. This is the first one. This is my first one. I've had regular magazine columns. I have 300 pages towards a novel I haven't finished. I've always written, but since I got involved in film, I knew I had these stories in me that I wanted to figure out how to put on the screen, and but this is the first screenplay that I finished.
This is your first one.
Yes.
Now, because I want to introduce. Obviously, I want to introduce Calhoun Koeniq in a second. I'm going to show the trailer, but how do you get for your first feature? Yeah. How do you get the tightness and the just the cohesiveness in the writing? How do you do that in your first?
One of the things that was a huge help to me is having been involved as a producer. When I was trying to figure out how to learn what I needed to know to make the story the best that it could be, I had been in conversations with somebody about doing some screenwriting classes and to learn. I'd been looking at a lot of things online, but I really wanted to be a part of a classroom setting.
Right.
And when I had met Charles Suginski, who runs the screenwriting class over at Actors Loft, and we had talked about taking his class, and the timing never worked out. I kept working on all these films as a producer, or I was doing makeup, and I didn't get to take his class the first couple times I wanted to. And he called me up when he was getting ready to do another class, and I said, it said you had to have taken your first class. You can't do the advanced screenwriting class until you take the other one. So I figured I'd missed out. And he said, no, he goes, you're going to come in, and he goes, there's going to be things that you're going to be behind on. And there's going to be things that you're going to be so ahead of the game because you understand what it's like to actually produce a film. So there are things that you're going to know going in. So I think that helped a lot, having been involved with film.
Were you able to do that prior to actually?
Yes. Okay, I started the script before the class. I worked on the script during, and I finished it about a month and a half after I finished the class.
Did the script actually get better after taking the class, or?
Oh, definitely.
Oh, it did?
Definitely.
Okay. Well, why don't we do this? I'm going to introduce you in a moment, Calhoun. But I want to take a quick look at the trailer. So people are talking about, what is this trailer? What is this trailer?
Awesome.
So let's take a look at this trailer. All right. It is called United Colors. Oh, that's not it. This is it right here.
Hi.
Hey.
I'm Dr. Song.
You called me out from the other side. You held my
Maybe we could do coffee sometime?
I'd love to sometime get coffee, sure.
I haven't done this dating thing in a long time.
You thought this was a date?
golden voice.
Now I have a daughter named Pearl. Did I tell you she's from China?
Did I tell you Janice is adopted?
She said you asked out her dentist, and you were stuttering the whole time. Really, Dad?
You're dating.
Yeah.
How many of them are you?
All of them.
I don't want to date you, Susan.
Oh, you don't?
I want to marry you. No, really, they're all ours.
You're kidding.
14?
14.
So what are you here for?
Witness for a defense man.
And you?
If they wanted to mess with my little sister, they were gonna have to go through me.
I don't see a problem with that.
Words are not fists.
No, sometimes they hit a lot harder.
Some black kid comes out of nowhere claiming to be your sister, and then this Oriental girl starts yelling bad words.
There is a noise ordinance, and the sounds coming out of the garage far exceeds that.
Sounds like I'm gonna have to put a muffler on my lawnmower. I didn't marry your mother and end up with the rest of you guys in the bargain. I love you, Pearl, including your stubbornness.
Please stop letting the dog lick milk from your mouth.
But she likes it! Dude, that's nasty. Whoa, I got a good one. This is like mining for diamond armor, but smellier.
Oh, Theo, no. Why do we have kitty litter? And I don't suppose either of you know how we ended up with a dead frog in the washing machine?
Oh no, Bob is... Nope, definitely not. We have no knowledge of this frog. Yep, nothing.
Great job. Are you proud of this?
I am really proud of this. I'm really proud of this. And every time I see this trailer, I don't even know how many times, I don't know if you can tell, I still tear up every time. And part of it is the inspiration for this story, that so much of it came from my real life. So much of it came from, part of it is like when I first had this story in my head, when it first came to me, was when my mom was in the hospital in ICU for the better part of 6 or 7 months. And one of her last lucid moments before she died, she made me promise to write the story. She always thought I should have been a writer. She always pushed me to do more. She thought every magazine article I wrote should have won a Pulitzer. And she knew I had this in me, and she made me promise to do this. And I finished the script on the 1-year anniversary of her passing. And she was with me so much of the step of the way. But the other thing that is so special about this is when we were immersed in this world, it was like no other film experience we've ever had. And everybody felt that. These kids became a family. We did some different things with producing it. We had special rehearsals for all the kids to come together, and we did some team building things with them, like all the signs that you see on the doors. We all did those together. We all we talked about their characters, and then they all created door signs to put up in the house in their characters. So if your character is sparkly or flashy, or, for some of the little kids, and there were so many moments that were so unexpected. And part of it was sitting around that table and seeing the older siblings helping the younger siblings. The first day they met, they all started to bond and do these things together. And Callie can, if you don't mind, tell them one of your first experiences, the first day we had rehearsal with all the kids.
I was really nervous to meet everyone. One, because I'm kind of awkward around new people. I don't really know what to do with myself. And it's 13 other kids.
Right.
What? That's so much at once. So I was really nervous going into it. And of course I knew a couple people, but it was mostly all new faces. Wow. But no, they were just little moments. One of my favorite little actresses ever. Her name is Kaylee. She's this tall, and she just came up to me. I barely knew her, and she just sat in my lap and just cuddled up against me. And it was my little sister. And it was just everything you see on the screen, the family, that chemistry, it's all real. It's all real, and that's so cool.
And I think that was really one of the things that I noticed about the film. And I'm thinking, because you incorporated the children, the child actors, and then the child actors were believable. And I'm so let me hold on. And that was a very inspiring story about your mom. That was very inspiring. So now, Calhoun, you have been, I heard it through the grapevine now. This is not your first film.
No.
As a matter of fact, how many films have you worked on?
About 34. Yeah.
34 films. And how old are you?
I'm 15.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
How do you do
crazy.
34 films? 34 films and you're only 15 years old. When did you start?
Well, I mean, I started in theater. When I was like 7, I discovered theater.
Okay.
And then I stopped when I was about 11
Mm-hmm.
for a number of reasons. But
Okay.
so I did about 20 plays within that time period. And before that, I had done about 2 films.
Uh-huh.
But hit 11, I'm like, why
So,
not just
wow.
take a run at film, you know? So it just kind of, I don't know, it just kind of took off from there. But it's been crazy, to say
From
the least.
11 to 15, 4 years.
Yeah.
Like 32 films.
Yeah, I know, right?
Oh, and I'm
Yeah.
we're gonna
Yeah.
find a role for you in my film too.
Okay, cool. Okay.
But wow, that is amazing. So what drew you to this particular film?
Well, I mean, first of all, it is my mother's screenplay.
Mm-hmm.
And I was around for the writing of it. I kind of saw what went behind it, and
Mm-hmm.
I was excited about it through that. But also, the role I'm playing, Pearl, I really fell in love with.
Mm-hmm.
She's
Why is that?
she's very driven. She knows what she wants. She's focused.
Okay.
And you see this transformation from the beginning to the end. Well, at first because of things that had happened in her past, being adopted, having the father leave, new guys coming in kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
She's very slow to trust, and she's very
Right.
closed off from her family. She has her band and her friends, but other than that, she isolates herself, and
Very.
she's very defensive.
And very guarded from
Yeah.
what I saw.
But you see throughout the film these not necessarily even big things. I mean, Cole comes through for her in a huge way, which helps a lot.
Mhm.
But just like little places where a family member is there for her or
Mhm.
helps her through this thing, where she really starts to fall in love with her family again, and she
Mhm.
really, I don't know, she
evolves.
blooms.
She evolves.
She
I like that.
blooms,
She
yeah.
Evolves. You really,
Yeah.
you see the character really change.
And
through-
finding
through this film.
those places, and
So
those
did it
changes
take you a
was
moment
fun.
to warm up to this guy who is this guy who doesn't want to date her? I don't want
Yeah.
to date you. I want to marry you.
Yeah, I hated him at first.
And that was organic hate, huh? No. just kidding.
No. It was actually kind of hard because Harley's like a second father to me
Harley's
in real
great.
life. He's so cool. But no, because I don't know. My father left for very selfish reasons. So my mom's been kind of just left to fend for herself with 7 children.
Wow.
So I've always kind of seen her as this independent woman, and the last guy left, I kind of hate guys with her.
Mhm.
So seeing this random dude just
Right.
walk in and think that he can, we'll all just love him,
Right.
it extremely annoys me.
Yeah.
But,
he had a mountain to climb for sure.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
especially getting used to the kids. So you're very guarded about, first of all, this guy.
Mhm.
And your mom, obviously, but now this guy's coming in, and I saw you protecting, like, was that your little sister you were protecting in one of the scenes?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
That was one of the moments that was a turning point for Pearl.
Uh-huh.
That was Kaylee, the girl. No, sorry, shoot, no, that wasn't Kaylee. That was
Which scene? I'm trying to remember.
the
which
one
scene it
where
was.
at the principal's office. Sorry,
Oh,
no.
that was protecting. Yeah, that
But,
was protecting Jimmy.
Yeah, no.
But that was a big turning point. Your
But
character.
yeah, when I was protecting Jimmy, because Jimmy is one of the Bennetts. She is in a song,
Mhm.
and this is only months after our families kind of joined. But it was just I don't know. I just really bonded with her as Pearl,
Mhm.
and standing up for her was definitely a change.
Are you excited about the premiere that's coming for the film?
Yeah.
We haven't announced the date yet.
Nancy, I know you haven't
I'm
announced the date.
extremely
Hopefully.
Yeah, we're going to do that on the show.
All right. Sounds good. All right, now let's talk about some of the other actors that were in the film. Harley Wallen, of course.
Yeah.
It's my guy. I love him.
Yeah.
But some of the other actors.
Aphrodite Nikolovsky played Susan Song. She played Pearl's mother.
Okay.
She is extraordinary. And
What was her name, woman?
Aphrodite Nikolovsky.
Okay.
She is.
Try saying that.
I know,
Yeah.
right? She's an extraordinary actress, and when we went through the audition process, we knew that we were going to have a lot of challenges with this film because one of the things you don't see in the trailer, one of the big important parts of this film is music.
Okay.
Pearl's kind of main storyline through the film is trying to achieve some musical goals. She's the lead singer and songwriter and piano player of a band that she has, an all-girl band. And she has some big challenges with that, and the whole family thing throws a monkey wrench into that story. So these two stories kind of collide with that film. And so we had to have a lot of kids that not only could act, but needed to be ethnically diverse. We had some very specific ethnicities that we wanted to have a really good, we want it to look like what America is.
Absolutely.
And
it was so believable. Not to interrupt you. It was so believable. Go ahead.
But we wanted so we had some challenges, but it kind of came down to like 5 actresses that we looked at, and when we brought everybody back for callbacks, Harley and I were kind of leaning towards another actress. Once we kind of got to like callback day, we were talking like, where are we all thinking? And it's like we're kind of leaning one way, but it's like we did a chemistry test between Harley and Aphrodite, and
it was just...
those of us that were in the room, and Callie was in the room for the casting, there was like this moment where we all just stopped breathing when Harley and Aphrodite were on the screen together. And the way that her process, like I think working with Aphrodite really changed you as an actress too. You guys, you really grew working with her, and they really, really, like they were really mother and daughter through this process. But the kids.
So there was a lot of close bonding on this film.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Extremely so, yeah.
Okay, now what was the process? How long did it take? But let me ask you that question in a second. So I saw Tara Reid, correct? And
Dennis Haskins.
Dennis Haskins,
yeah.
Okay. Anyone else that...
There's no other big Hollywood names in it.
Okay.
But Dennis and I have been friends for 20 years.
Yeah.
And I brought him in for Taken Over, and and we brought him in for Into a Dark Mind. Okay. But this film there's a really wonderful scene in this film that is both tribute and homage to kind of his background and what he's meant to the entertainment business. And I didn't really have a conversation with him about that beforehand, but I was actually in the other room when they were filming that scene, because when she's acting, I try to stay out of her sight line, so she can focus and be in character. Gotcha. But I could hear them in the other room, and I was actually crying on the other side of the wall listening to them do the scene. But Dennis came out afterwards, and he's like, I really felt what you were trying to do there. And he goes that this was both within that character, but also externally, that this was a real tribute as a friend and a real expression of the importance of art. Because that's an underlying theme in this film too, is the importance of art in our lives, but especially diversity. Anybody that knows me knows that I'm a pretty political person. Yeah, I have very strong values and express them. And there was a moment during the screenwriting class I was taking was last fall, which was a very interesting time for all of us. And the story was already important to me for a lot of personal reasons, because this is what our family looks like. This is what a lot of families look like. But it became even, it was almost a sense of desperation that I needed to get the story out and get it made right now, because the world needs to see families that look like this. They need to see that this is America. This is who we are. Yeah. And so I think that's one of the things that makes.
So you were trying to target this prior to the election results.
Yeah, I was writing this. I was writing this around that time, and so that definitely. And there's nothing. The funny thing is there's nothing political in the film. Right. There, you don't see that in the expression of it, but there's this.
But it was a message and a visual.
But this message, I think, is important. Like putting films out there that are still lighthearted and positive and heartfelt, but that definitely make a point of showing very real families and very real life.
So give us a synopsis of the film. I mean, the trailer was amazing, but what is the story, the full story, the synopsis behind the film?
There are two main stories that intersect. One is Pearl's story, which is her trying to achieve her musical dreams.
Okay.
One of the things that's really important to her is getting to this Grammy camp. Her father's made her promises about, matching funds if she can raise some of the money. And at the same time, her mother has this meet cute moment. She's a dentist. She meets this man, and they kind of start dating, and the rest of the kids don't know. And around that same time, some things change with her father, and he really lets her down. And so the families combining has an impact on them financially. And so it becomes obvious that this is going to put a real monkey wrench in her achieving her goals. But then the family comes together in various ways to help one another, but they end up helping her achieve those goals in a way that she didn't expect. That became even better, more important.
Yeah, don't give it away. Don't give it away. I like the way you're navigating around that. Don't give it away. It's good because I'm like drawn into it. I'm absolutely going to be there.
Yeah. There's one other actress that I wanted to mention too, because one of my favorite things. I'm going to try to get through this one without crying. Okay. This is a hard one. One of my favorite things to do is when you get to call people to tell them that they got cast when you do all your auditions and everything. And I started making a lot of the calls for all the kids, but there was one I kind of waited for the second day because I wanted to, one, make sure she was home when her mom told her, but also because I knew this was going to be a really special moment because she was a young lady that's never really had the opportunity to do films. She had done a music video, she had done theater, but for the very specific reason that there's not a lot of roles when you're in the Midwest for kids, first of all, but for a young deaf actress, there's even fewer. I can't tell you where this character came from. There were certain things that kind of inspired me to write this character, and she becomes one of the heroes of the story. But all along, I was just like, I really hope we can find a Janice. I really hope we can do the right thing and cast a young deaf actress in this role. But because there's this big paradox of, you don't get a lot of experience because there's not a lot of people that write these kind of characters. But making that phone call and knowing, I told her mom this at the end of the movie. I said, there was this moment back in May when we made the casting calls. I'm not going to get through this without crying. There was...
Where's the
I'm
tissue?
fine. There was a moment, I told her back in May, I told her this on Rap Day. I said, where I was feeling really good about myself because I knew I was about to make a phone call. And I was going to change somebody's life.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to make a phone call that was going to change somebody's life. That was going to give her a game changer opportunity. In so many ways. There's some very special things about this character because this isn't an after-school special. I've been bullied because I'm different. She's a hero of the story. She's just part of a family, and she happens to be deaf. But she becomes a hero in this. And I said, so there was this moment when I made a phone call, and I knew I was going to change somebody's life, and I didn't know until 3 months later that it was going to be mine. Being a part of being around Morgan and her mother and all these wonderful people that have been so supportive of this film from the deaf community was an unexpected surprise of this whole journey. 2 of the kids that were in the film have now started American Sign Language. And I know Callie plans on doing that once she finishes her current language requirements at school. And
Morgan's taken up drums.
And Morgan is starting to play the drums. But there's there were so many moments with her in this film that this film really changed her, but it also being around her
Can you give
really
us just
changed us.
Just a sample of what happened when you told her?
Well, the funny thing is she wasn't home.
Okay.
And so I called her up when I knew it was after school time, but she happened to have softball practice that day. And I called her up and I got her mother, Lori, on the phone, and she said, I said, Lori, this is Nancy Oeswein from United Colors of Bennett Song. And there was so much in this one word in her voice. I heard her on the other end of the phone go, yes. And I was like, oh, this feels so good. Because she had heard from...
Wait.
Sorry.
Whenever there's a shift in the show in a moment like this, we have to bring up the applause. Go ahead. Sorry.
So she had heard from somebody else that a lot of the phone calls had been made the day before. And she said, I was trying not to stand by the phone. And she said, but when I got your call, she was just like, she thought it was like the day before. She was kind of preparing Morgan for disappointment because they hadn't gotten the phone call at first.
Wow.
And I said, I'm calling you with some good news. And just again, she went, yes. I said, is Morgan there right now? And she goes, no, she's at softball practice. And I said, well, do me a favor. I said, I remember the first time Callie landed a big role. I said, I made a sign and I met her at the bus stop so all of her friends could hear her like jumping up and down and screaming. And she goes, I'm going right now to softball practice. I'm going to get a cake. I'm going to get some balloons. I'm going to show up. And she said she didn't even have to do anything. She got to softball practice and all of her friends knew. Everybody knew she was up for this big, like, game-changing role. Yeah. And she said she showed up at softball practice and pulled up. And she goes, I just stood up out of the car. I didn't even pull the balloons out or anything yet. They just saw me showing up before softball practice. She goes, she could just read my face. And softball practice ended, and everybody started screaming and jumping up and down. And Morgan was crying and stuff.
No, this needs to be like an hour-long interview. We've got a couple minutes. We only have a couple minutes. Great story. I saw a couple actors. Pam German. I love Pam German.
I love Pam too.
Pam German. I saw her in there. A couple other actors that I did see. So when is not the release date? We'll get this in the last minute. We only have 2 minutes.
Okay.
Okay. So the process of it, February.
Yes.
You're excited about it.
I am excited about it.
Red carpet premiere.
Yes. Our red carpet screening. Is going to be February 25th.
February 25th.
It is. We are probably, I can't confirm the location exactly because I'm waiting to hear back from them about some special things that we want to do in that venue. We're probably going back to Imagine Royal Oak just because it's centrally located. Yeah. They've been great to work with. Paul's so supportive of Michigan film. But we want to do some special things. School of Rock was really supportive during this film. Really? They provided some free music lessons for some characters that needed to do some specific things in the film. And they did big banners for this talent show competition that takes place in the film.
Wow.
And so they were really supportive. And they want us to have their house band, which includes one of our actresses.
Wow.
Come and play a couple songs at the end of the premiere. We're going to have some fun kid stuff. We're going to do the premiere a little bit earlier in the day so families and kids can come because this is unlike a lot of the stuff that we see in Michigan. She's been a part of a lot of films that
I anticipate
that her
there's
friends
going to be
come to see.
There's going to be a huge turnout because of so many children that were.
Yeah.
Wow. So how are you guys going to manage that? It's going to be.
Well, we know we're going to sell out at least 3 theaters and. We're going to see if they're going to allow me to sell a fourth if that happens. So
that's
because
huge news.
I think we sold out 3 theaters for Taken Over, and because of the kids, we anticipate this to be a much bigger turnout. So, we're actually doing a slightly lower ticket price too for because it's families and people are going to bring kids and stuff too, and there's a lot of costs that go into the premieres, and we want. Obviously we raise some funds that will help with festival submissions and all that, but but we want to make it a little bit easier for people.
Great. Listen, we're live. That's why we're getting ready to go off right now live. So is there anyone you want to thank really, really quickly? Start with Calhoun.
Oh my gosh.
Oh shoot. I don't know.
Really quickly.
Like Harley for being an awesome director and scene partner.
Okay.
Daddy for like all the stuff I've learned, and of course my mother, Nancy.
Nancy, take us out like 30 seconds.
Thank you. Oh my gosh. My mom for teaching me everything that it means to love a child. My daughter for getting me into this business. A lot of people think that she followed in my footsteps, but I actually followed in hers. And Harley for believing me and giving me opportunities to grow and learn with him and finding my legs in this business and finding that I really had like something to offer in like my third career. Every one of these children who are my heart.
In the studio live, the one and only, the only one, we have Calhoun Koeniq and we have Nancy Oeswein. Give it up, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you for having us.